will love that.
Download our app today and enjoy tackle-busting benefits with great odds, more markets and same-game multi every NRL match at Palmerbet. Gamble responsibly. For Gamblers' Help, call 1-800-858-858.
Hello and welcome to episode 400 of Fergo and the Freak. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. And joining me as always is the celebratory League Freak, who you can also find on Twitter at League Freak. Happy 400, mate.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Who would have thought when we started out saying, let's stop fucking around and do a podcast finally. That
Hang on. Not we. You said that.
Well, I did on Messenger.
Because I do tend to just fuck around.
I don't want to take all the credit for it.
But you should, because I end up being that person who is basically all talk and no fucking action.
Nah, that's not the case. Anyway.
You were the proverbial boot to my pants.
Yeah, I will accept that. But it's crazy that we've done 400 of these things.
I know. Well, you've done basically 400. I'm probably sitting around 300.
I've done 398. What would you be at? I was thinking about this today. I reckon you would be at about 388 or something like that.
I'd be 380 or so.
Yeah.
I reckon I've missed quite a few. At least 20.
Yeah, I don't think it's been 20. I reckon it's been...
It would be 20.
You reckon?
Comfortably. Remember that time I was, before COVID came along, I got every other fucking virus there was under the sun.
Yeah, that's right. You were sick.
And you just ran the thing.
And then I got sick. Remember that episode I jumped on and I sounded like I was dying? That was great.
Yeah, but, as we all know, this is like one of those go down memory lane episodes. You had an onion and you're all good.
Yes.
I haven't been sick since.
I consumed an onion. And it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. You should eat a fucking onion. You should go into the kitchen and go and get an onion and start fucking eating it.
Oh, I don't have any onions in there.
Oh, I don't have any onions in there.
Damn.
Whatever.
I'll get one from work tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll go and find a fucking vegetable. Go and find a turnip or something. What type of vegetables do you like down there in Melbourne?
Steak?
Yes, steak.
That's my favourite vegetable.
Isn't it weird how there's all these articles saying we've got to stop eating meat? We're killing the environment. Let me tell you, if the last thing that happens is I'm eating a sirloin steak just as the world explodes.
Just let me finish that fucker first before the thing goes.
I will put a bit of sauce on it and it'll be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even care if it's good steak. Like, it might be steak.
If all these cows are bad for the environment, we're doing our part to try and get rid of them.
I know, I'm eating them as quick as I can.
Yeah. I mean, we're not the ones breeding them. We're just trying to get rid of them. We're doing all we can, people. We've got to work with us. Help us out a bit here.
These cows are having way too much sex.
Way too much.
It's
We're
ridiculous.
doing our level best.
Yeah, we really are.
And these, vegetarians, let's be honest, they are bad for the environment because they're saying we should leave them all there and just let them populate like crazy.
Mm. Yeah.
They're madness.
Eat the cows.
You have to eat all the animals. Got to eat all of them.
Mm. The funny thing is that if you use shampoo, guess what's in that? You don't even want to know, but it's cow products.
Well, it have to be.
Yeah, you know what they do? They basically take all of the stuff that you can't eat and wear, and they boil it, and then they skim some stuff off the top of it, and a lot of that goes into shampoo.
Sweet. I wonder what it tastes like.
Go and get a bottle of shampoo. We'll find out.
I'll tell you what. If you got the shampoo, made it brown, stirred it up a little bit, sprinkled a little bit of corn flour in there, Poms would have it on chips.
Probably.
With mushy peas. We were doing a rugby league. Oh, we hadn't actually started the rugby league podcast yet.
No, we hadn't. We were still congratulating ourselves.
As we do. I mean, we should actually just do episode 400. It should just be us talking about how great we are.
I know. We've got the most prolific rugby league podcast on planet Earth and the best one overall.
Yeah, of all the ones that I've listened to this week,
Yeah.
ours is definitely the best.
100%. Because let's face it, a lot of them are shit.
Well, they're not us, are they?
Fuck it.
Hang on. Hear that?
No.
No, that's not a single one of them complaining about what we just said.
Exactly. They didn't win an award.
That's compliance.
They didn't win.
Yeah, they've got to pay to get an award.
Yeah. We
see through that bullshit.
We fucking just get them.
Sorry. We just say, Freaky, go fire up the machine. We need some awards.
Yeah.
Boom. 50 million of them.
We're not so much a podcast as we're an award-winning machine.
That's right. And we own the machine.
Yeah. Anyway, what we're going to do in this 400th episode, we're going to preview round 9 of the 2022 National Rugby League season.
Lovely. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, and we're going to do it thanks to our wonderful friends and major sponsors, Palmerbet. You know that shit's getting real when you press play and you hear Palmerbet with the big don't argue. You know you're about to get entertained.
Oh, yeah. And educated.
Yeah, yeah. So
it's edutainment.
It really is. And it's brought to you by Palmerbet.com, where all of the odds you're about to hear are from Palmerbet.
They are. And always make sure you gamble responsibly, people. All right, let's get into it.
Okay.
I don't actually have the draw in front of me at the moment, so I'll get you to read them out.
Okay. Well, on Thursday night, we have the South Sydney Rabbitohs hosting the Brisbane Broncos. Now, in the head-to-head, South Sydney are favourites at $1.23. The Broncos are at $4.20. The Broncos have an 11.5-point head start, which is a big head start, I reckon. They've gone out to $2 with the 11.5 points handicap. The South Sydney Rabbitohs are at $1.80, so a little bit of money's been put on them there. You know what? I was tempted to go with the Broncos.
I'm just looking at some stats here, and the last time Brisbane won away from Lang Park against the Bunnies was 2018.
Wow, it's a fair while ago. I don't know. I feel like the Broncos, they went through a bit of a real down patch. They played pretty poorly, but I feel like maybe they're coming back a little bit, and South Sydney are a little bit shaky.
I'm weird on South because you look at them play and you go, yeah, they're a solid team. But then you just look at their halves and go, I don't have any confidence in that. I don't know why. I just don't. And so I find myself tipping against them an awful lot, even though they are a good side. Let's not beat around the bush there. They're a decent team. I mean, they're in the top 8. Can't be that bad. But yeah, I just look at them and go, for some reason, my head's just saying there's something flaky about them. But I haven't really seen the flakiness to confirm that. It's just a bit of a gut feel. And I think it's just the fact they don't have a, experienced halfback there. And, Latrell Mitchell, if he's not injured, he's being a dickhead and getting himself suspended. So he's barely in the side these days.
Yeah, like I was looking at where they both stand on the ladder. And look, the difference between these two teams is that the Broncos have had some games where they haven't been able to score points. But I feel as though when the Broncos are on, they should be able to have the firepower to overcome this South team. Now, I've tipped South still. I couldn't go against them, but I'm not confident. Like, I feel as though I could very easily after this game think, man, I should have tipped the Broncos or would have looked like a genius.
Yeah. I'll go Brisbane, but I'm not like you. I'll go against Brisbane. And it's largely because it's not at Lang Park, and South are higher on the ladder. That's feeble. I mean, that is one step away from saying, their mascot has bigger teeth.
I guess he does, hey?
That's about it.
Less teeth. The horse has more teeth.
Yeah, well, the teeth that the bunny has are bigger.
That's true. Remember when they stopped the horse from galloping around Lane Park for safety reasons?
It's probably because back when that was going on, Brisbane were flogging everyone, so the horse is probably digging a big trench around the ground.
I don't know. I feel like, and I don't know why, I feel like rugby league management wouldn't give a shit about running a horse to death at the moment. It's just a feeling I've got. Anyway.
It's a Vlandis thing.
I wasn't going to say that.
Fuck it, I will.
Anyway. So we're both tipping Souths in that one.
Yeah.
Friday night, at the early game, 6 p.m., we've got the hopeless, heartless, gutless Canberra Raiders up against the rejuvenated Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Now, the Raiders are favourites for in this one. They're at $1.85 on Palmerbet.com. The Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs are at $1.95, so it's pretty close. The Bulldogs have a 1.5 point head start. They're at $1.80. They've had some money come in at that. And obviously the Raiders, 1.5 point handicap, they're at $2. I tip the Bulldogs.
Yeah, so looking at recent form line here between these two, Canberra's won the last 5 straight games.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Bulldogs' last win over Canberra was in 2017. Canberra's won 7 of the last 8.
Hopefully Barrett hasn't sucked the life out of this Bulldogs team.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I look at this matchup on paper and I go, this has all the hallmarks of being an absolute fucking bludger.
It does. But I also think, like, if the Raiders lost big to the Bulldogs, would that be Ricky Stewart's last game?
No.
You don't reckon?
No. He's got mates all through the media. Have a look at how shit they're going at the moment, and have a look at all the articles about what's going on with the Raiders. There's none.
Yeah, but then again, there's probably none because they're irrelevant.
They're scared. You know what? They only bully the weak.
Let's not get into that.
I'll save that for a tweet.
Yeah. He hasn't. You know what? If people go to the Rugby League group that I started on Twitter and that recording is in there, I think it was the top post last time I saw.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm going to put my neck on the line. I'm going to go with Canberra here because I don't think a Ricky Stewart side in Canberra can continue to keep getting worse and worse and worse the way they are for as long as they have been. They are going to jag a win. It won't be a good win, but they'll jag one. Just in time before the media goes, should we write an article about Ricky Stewart? And then he gets a win going, Ricky Stewart's a genius.
6 p.m. in Canberra. I have a feeling it's not super cold down there yet. Well, relatively.
It will be cold.
It sucks. It's terrible.
Once the sun goes over the grandstand roof, the temperature drops by 20, 30 degrees.
Mate, I know. You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Fucking
horrid.
Yeah, But I
sit there going, this is not a bad day. And then the sun goes in and going, holy fuck.
Yeah, but it's not the midwinter shit yet. It's still like the Bulldogs are going to go there and they're not going to be like, this is stupid. Why would anyone live here? Not quite. They will if they go and venture into the city.
Dude. If there's just a hint, just a breath of wind, once that sun goes down, that cold will come through and it will freeze your soul. Because that's what it does. It goes straight through the skin, straight through the bones. It goes straight to your soul and it says, I'm going to freeze that fucking thing. And that's what that wind does. Fuck the Canberra wind.
It'll freeze the balls off a brass monkey.
Oh, yeah. Off a cold brass monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go Canberra just because I think they're going to jag one. And if you're going to jag a win, you might as well do it against a Trent Barrett side.
Yeah, it's always fun playing the Trent Barrett side, the architect. Now, the big game Friday night, it's 2 of the early season favourites, but I think that it's got a very different feel coming in now. It's the Penrith Panthers and the Parramatta Eels. The Panthers are at $1.22 and the Eels are at $4.30 in the head-to-head on palmerbet.com. The Eels have a 12.5-point head start.
Wow.
At $1.87, so there's been some money there. The Panthers with the 12.5-point handicap are at $1.93. Now, I feel as though 6 weeks ago, Parramatta fans were ready for this game. They were pumped. Panthers weren't really thinking about this because, we win premierships. Now, I think it's been a little bit of turmoil at Parramatta. The fans are not happy. It feels as though this Parramatta team is in a weird position at the moment, but I could see where it all gets turned around with good performance against Penrith, but I wouldn't put my money on it.
No. Let's be honest, the last 4 weeks have been mostly shit for Parramatta.
Mm-hmm.
They barely beat the Titans. It was 26-20. They lost to the Tigers first win of the season. And that was a woeful performance by Parramatta. I mean, I'm not going to take too much away from the Tigers. They were immensely better because Hastings was back calling the shot. So their attack was starting to look more fluid and less fluky. But Parramatta played so stupid in that game.
Yeah.
They then dicked the Knights, but and then got spanked by the Cowboys last week, and that was probably. I'm still unsure which was the worst performance, the one against the Tigers, the one against the Cowboys. They were both really horrible.
Yeah. And they've had this thing about Jacob Arthur.
I know.
And it's weird because, people were getting into him apparently on social media.
That's wrong.
I don't think he's a terrible player. I think he's all right. And I've tweeted today, I think in the right situation, he'd be an all right player. But I don't think the right situation is his Parramatta Eels team. I think this is probably one of the worst situations for him. And I'm not even talking about his dad. I just think football-wise on the field, playing alongside a half who just goes missing, completely missing. That's not what they need.
No, I mean, even look who's in front of him. He's got a pretty damn good six that's already in front of him. So and they moved him to centre to try and accommodate him. He just went, that's just got bad written all over it. And sure enough, it did.
Yeah.
This is a horrible, horrible move. I'm with you. I think he needs to be at a place where there's a good 7 who can at least call plays.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't go too bad at the Cowboys. Chad Townsend's not much chop, but he does know how to call plays. He can't really create much, but if they're running plays and they're set plays, he can do the bare minimum he needs to do to get that done. I mean, we've seen enough of that over the last 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a better situation for him, or something like that. Anyway, maybe the Dragons even. Ben Hunt would probably be a pretty good halves partner for him.
True. Yeah, true.
That would work out all right.
Another one, I would think that playing alongside Hastings at the West Tigers, that wouldn't be the worst place for him. Anybody going in the Melbourne Storm, that's an easy one. Look at playing alongside Nathan Cleary,
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Luke Brooks would look like a superstar playing. So. I do want to say one thing, stats-wise, about this Parramatta side. They've conceded almost twice as many points as Penrith already after 8 games.
Yeah.
And they are ranked 9th in defence this year on the ladder so far. Now, just to make it sound even worse, is the West Tigers are ranked 8th.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
So that's where Parramatta are. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the comp, not one of the best.
I feel as though this game we're either going to watch it and be like, Parramatta used all of that energy during the week and fired up, and football teams do that sometimes. Or we're going to watch the Panthers strangle the life out of Parramatta, and we won't talk about Parramatta as a premiership threat either this season or under Brad Arthur or while they've got their current core group. I think that's what is riding on this game for Parramatta. If they have a big loss or a really demoralising loss in this one, I think it's going to be really devastating for them.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be. I don't think they'll be shameful in this one. I think they'll actually have a better performance in this game than their last few weeks. I expect them to be much stronger in the middle of the park, but I still see the Panthers. I wouldn't be surprised if the game's close at half time, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers run away with it a little bit in the second half. Yeah. I don't know if Penrith will get to 30, but I reckon they'll probably win by at least 2 converted tries. I don't think at the moment the problem with Parramatta as I'm watching them play is because they're now down on confidence, they're now playing one-dimensional footy. So Mitch Moses is not running anymore. And so because Penrith's got a very good defensive system, if Moses isn't running, which is what makes him dangerous and makes him a massive threat, if he's not running, Yo's just going to be on him all night. You've now just got one half who's being completely looked after by one forward. You're not creating anything anywhere now.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. So his other option is, and this is going to be the only weak point, is if Staines plays, Moses is going to kick to him a lot. But I did hear that Brian is on the extended bench.
Yes, I think he'll come straight into the team. I hope he's completely fit and he's ready to rock and roll. Man, when he comes in, their backline's better than it was last year. It's crazy.
It's insane. Now, also, Parramatta have only scored 4 tries all up in their last 4 games against the Panthers.
Yeah. I tell you, there'd be a lot of teams that'd be like that, to be fair, though.
And they've only scored 26 points in their last 4 games all up against the Panthers.
Looking at this game, I really do. I felt like the Eels are going to use all this negative energy and channel it into a good performance. But there is part of me that also thinks, are the Panthers going to be thinking about all of that shit talking the Eels did from a trial game and just decide, you know what, you think you're a fucking good team and just crush them?
I think Penrith will probably I think they won't be too focused on scoring points in this game. I think they'll be trying to keep Parramatta's attack shut down.
Yeah.
I've seen enough of Ivan Cleary at the moment in the last few seasons to know that he's not that obsessed about scoring points anymore. He's more about, if we can screw down a team so hard that they find it hard to actually make momentum, we'll score enough points off the back of that where we need to. Well, he's all about just wringing the life out of teams.
Here's a question for you. We've seen it this year. So you've got the Melbourne Storm who can put 70 points on a club, right? We've seen that performance. Then we saw that performance where the Panthers didn't let the Raiders play in one half of the field for a whole half of footy. So we've seen those 2 different performances. Isn't it cool that in rugby league you can have both of those dominating styles of game, and they're so different and they're both so successful, and I enjoy watching both. But I've got to say, and it's probably because I'm a Panthers fan, to be fair, seeing what the Panthers did against the Raiders to me is just the purest form of domination in rugby league I think we've seen this year. Because you can say, okay, the New Zealand Warriors were disgraceful in defence, and that's fair enough. But to stop a team when they've got the ball in hand so completely, just not letting them do anything, it was crazy. Yeah. And we can talk about how good the Storm is. I love the Storm. I talked about the Storm 400 episodes, or 398 anyway. But damn, that the Panthers are the only team that can completely crush your soul by not letting you do anything. They've got to be the worst team to play against.
They are. I was just thinking out loud there when you're talking. I thought, I wonder how many tries you need to score against the Panthers to be a genuine chance of, at least a 50% chance of winning the game. And I thought 3 is usually a pretty good mark.
I was going to say 3, yeah.
The last time they lost a game when the opposition scored 3 or more tries was in round 2021 against the Storm.
Yeah.
There's been 5 games since then where the opposition scored 3 tries or more and lost.
Wow.
The Penrith still won despite the opposition scoring at least 3 tries. So, to be honest, you're going to need to score 4 tries if you want to be a 50% chance of winning the game. That's the other thing. Like, Panthers' attack is so good that it can put on at least 20 odd points, pretty much nearly every game if they need to.
Yeah.
It's not a hassle. So it means you need to score 4 tries in order to have a chance, a 50% chance of winning the game. But you've got to be able to score 4 tries against that defence.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, when they're on, you're flat out just getting in good field position, and that's the thing. If Parramatta comes out and they're playing with that clunky, awkward style where they don't throw much at you, the Panthers will eat that up all day. It's going to be an interesting game to watch because we're going to see, like, we know what the Panthers are going to give us, but we're really going to see the Parramatta Eels and what they're made of in this game. And we're either all going to be like, you know what, that was pretty solid coming off of where they're coming off of this week, or we're going to be like, oh, we don't have to worry about the Eels this year. And that's a pretty big difference. Man, it's if the Eels could have played, I feel like the Eels would rather play the Storm this weekend than the Panthers, because at least they've got a pretty good record against the Storm, relatively speaking.
I think what they probably want is to play Newcastle pretty much every week.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it, massive flat track bullies. Put them up against a poor performing team at the wrong end of the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Parramatta smashes them.
Mm.
Put them up against either a top team or a team that's playing well. Like, even if they come up against the Dragons this week, they would struggle because the Dragons have won 3 in a row. They'd struggle with it. Massive flat track bullies. They've got to be up against a team in shit form or just an outright shit team in order to have a chance of being comfortable with the win.
But they play well against the Storm.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and look, they played well in that one game against the Panthers in the finals.
I thought you meant in the trials.
That's the thing that gets me. And it's going to be interesting to see with the Panthers, because you feel as though the Panthers have won their premiership on the back of just talent. This is an influx of talent you don't see very often come into a club. And so you can say, is it just talent? And they've got this ridiculous defence. If they come out and they just decide to put one on the Eels and hear them come after the game and say, you know what, this ain't a fucking trial match, it would be like, oh, this Panthers team's a bit different. This Panthers team's a vindictive champion.
Yeah.
It'd be like when Mike, that in the that Michael Jordan documentary that he funded and made himself look good in, where there was about 15 instances where he said, "Oh no, I took it personally." Could be like that.
Yeah. No, it's I think Parramatta will be improved, but I don't think they're going to get close here.
No, I agree.
Penrith will win comfortably.
Now, Saturday afternoon, we're going to this. Huh?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Saturday afternoon, we are heading to the sour ground there on the northern beaches. I don't even know what they call it these days. Is it 3 Pines Stadium they call it?
North Sydney Oval, I think.
North Sydney Oval.
That'll go well. I think it's 3 Pines Park.
Okay, 3 Pines Park. Don't go sitting in the northern end, especially in the northeast corner. It's not good.
The North Sydney Oval corner.
Yeah, the Manly Warringah Seagulls are hosting the Wests Tigers. This home game for the Tigers too. The head-to-head results on Palmerbet.com. The Manly Seagulls are at $1.19. Holy shit.
Yeah.
The West Tigers are at $4.80. The West Tigers have a 13.5 point head start, which is pretty damn good if you ask me. They're at $1.95. The Manly Warringah Seagulls with the 13.5 point handicap on Palmerbet.com, they're at $1.85. So there's been a bit of money there.
Yeah, because Tom Trbojevic is back.
Oh boy.
That's all it is. The Manly have scored 27 tries in their last 4 games against the Tigers. That's an average of 6.7 tries per game.
That's outrageous.
And one of those games was a loss.
What? What was the score in the loss?
34-32.
Oh, shit.
So the last 4 games they won 32-12, 32-34 loss, 40-6, and 44-24.
Oh, man, I feel way less confident about that 13.5 point head start now.
It's fucking brutal.
Yeah, it's rough. It's really
very
rough.
brutal. Should check what the West Tigers record's like at Brookvale, because I reckon it's probably a continuation of that sort of form.
Yeah, I was just wondering what that was, hey?
They've had 3 wins at Brookvale since 2001.
Oh, shit.
That's out of 14 games.
Okay. When was their last win?
The 34-32 game, which was in 2020.
Okay.
Then before that was 2018, and before that was 2003.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Not really. Let's have a look here. Let's see if there's anything else a bit more crazy. So Manly averaged 26.5 points per game against the Tigers at Brookvale.
Mm-hmm.
The Tigers averaged 19. So that's a 7-point margin. That's over 12 games at Brookvale between the two.
To be fair, this is a different West Tigers team over the last week and a half.
Is it though?
No, not really.
No.
But you know what? There were a couple of good rounds there, and I think that that's what we should focus on. Jackson Hastings comes up against his most hated rival in Daly Cherry Evans. So I actually saw a little bit of an article was written about that, and I think it was something along the lines of he doesn't really hold any grudges against Daly Cherry Evans, but he hasn't talked to Trent Barrett since, which is like...
Well, that's fair. I mean, no one talks to Trent Barrett.
But under what circumstances would he talk to Trent Barrett?
If he wanted some advice on some plastic chairs.
Yeah. But that's
which ones do you go for? Trent goes, I like the ones that have got a bit more flex in the legs, so you can put the prop forwards on there and they're not going to break them, so I get to reuse them a bit. Also get the white ones, because most of the plastic table settings that you get at Bunnings are the same colour, so they sort of match up a bit. Yeah, that's kind of the information you get from Trent.
It's pretty good advice, to be fair.
The fucking architect.
So, are you going to tip the Manly Seagulls or the West Tigers?
Let me put it this way. Manly will win, but I'll tip the Tigers.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm tipping the Tigers not because I think they'll win, but because I support a shit team. So I deserve to tip them and lose that tip every week.
That's fair enough.
That's my punishment.
I'm tipping the Manly Seagulls, and after all the stats you read to me, they could score 60.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. Well, actually, you know what? I'll say this: the Tigers' defense has been considerably improved over the last month.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Has it been tested? Well, I mean, they haven't been up against atrocious outfits, but they haven't exactly been up against the top of the line stuff either. So we haven't really got a rule to check them out against the likes of Penrith or Melbourne yet. I mean, the worst performance so far was when Cronulla, who were in top form at the time they played them, scored 30 on them.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose it's not too bad. I know they did play Melbourne in round 1. That was 26-16, so that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. I forgot about that game.
So yeah, defensively they're doing all right. So if Tom's not quite 100%, they might be able to keep him quiet, especially if Hastings is able to have an effective kicking game and not kick it to him on the full. Because we see a lot of stupid halfbacks will just kick the ball down Tom's throat all the fucking time. Have you not been watching the game? But no, they haven't. Just like they used to do it all the time to Slater, and then they end up having to wait for the game to change the rules to try and negate Slater. How stupid was that?
The only fullback you should ever kick to every single time is Clint Gutherson.
I was going to say Moses and By.
Oh, yeah.
Because you kick to Moses, he'll let it bounce.
He really will. He's not confident.
No.
Oh, shit. He'll be like...
Every time you see a kick up to Moses and By, I reckon Dragons fans just cover their eyes going... Oh. Look up occasionally, about 3 seconds later going... Oh, okay, they didn't score a try.
It's like a bomb goes up to him and he's like, I think this will be all right.
Someone puts up a bomb, he looks up and goes, hey, catch that bomb. He's going, a bomb where? Fucking run.
Although I will say this, who do you think is more likely to make a break running the ball back from fullback, Mbai or Gutherson?
Fuck, that's a hard question.
Yeah, I know. I'd think I'd go for Mbai.
And Mbai might only because the Dragons wingers may not go back. And so you'll have no option but to run, whereas Gutherson's wingers know that he doesn't run, so they're always back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's not great there. Yeah, I don't think the Tigers will win this, but I don't think they'll disgrace themselves.
Yeah, the important thing is their books are great.
They are great, and look, if they keep being decent defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If they can make a habit of being reliable enough in defence, and even if they finish the year, irrespective of wins and losses, okay, if they can finish the year as one of the top 8 defensive teams, finally you can start to go, okay, you know what? We've got something to build upon, because you can't build upon an attack, because if you come up against, 8 teams that got better attack than you can't outscore them. And you can't keep them at bay, you're going to get fucking flogged. So you need to have good defence. Penrith and Melbourne and the Roosters in previous seasons have shown that defence is very, very important to being successful. So if the Tigers can be a top 8 defensive team for the majority of the year, then that should be the basis of what they start from for next season. You know what, they can't sit there and try and convince themselves that they're a fucking chance of making the finals every goddamn year. They're just not, and they're not even close to it. But if you need something to build from, and they've never ever made the effort to try and build from a strong defensive base. I'll say it again: the title win in 2005 was a fucking fluke. They hit form at the perfect time of the season and come up against a bunch of teams that were either busted or worn out, and the rules at the time just completely suited the team they had. And they just ran teams ragged. They ran around them. They ran through them everywhere. And it wasn't through sheer power. It was just through speed.
Mm.
They didn't have a big forward pack. They had a very mobile forward pack and a very agile one. And a lot of teams were still getting around with these big lumbering forwards. So they just had them constantly going backwards because the rules allowed that. They changed the rules the following year. And where were the Tigers? Outside the 8 with a virtually unchanged team. So let's be honest. 05, while it was fantastic, was also fluky. And so it's a massive anomaly in the whole defense is what wins you games. Because right now, with the rules that have been since then, you do need to be a strong defensive team if you're going to be a successful team on the field. And the Tigers haven't been a strong defensive team since 2000.
Yeah, that's true.
So finally, they're working on something that's you can build a base off. It's taken a while, but we're finally there. So I can handle watching them lose games like they did on the weekend, where the opposition can only score 2 tries against them. To me, that's not a bad result for a team like the Tigers.
And with that in mind, they'll probably sack Maguire. Now,
Well, yeah.
5:30. 5:30. We have the game between the Sydney Roosters and the Gold Coast Titans. The Sydney Roosters at palmerbet.com in the head-to-head, they're at $1.29, and the Gold Coast Titans are at $3.64. The Gold Coast Titans have a 9.5 point head start. They're at $2. With the 9.5 point handicap, there's been a bit of money for the Sydney Roosters. They're at $1.80.
Yeah, the Roosters haven't lost to the Titans since 2017.
Wow.
They've won their last 8 straight, and they've put on a few points in that time. Let's have a look here. 242 points in 8 games, so they're averaging 30 points a game against the Titans. And the Titans are only getting 17 in comparison, so it's a 13-point win. So
there you go.
They're the 13 plus.
The Titans this year, they're just getting worse and worse. No Fafita for this game. Well,
you know what? To be honest, that's not a loss.
Yeah,
he's been largely dog shit.
Yeah, he has. And I feel as though, like, the Roosters lost last week against the Canterbury Bulldogs, so they'll want to pull one out in this one. Look, the Roosters are kind of the team I expected them to be at the start of the year. Everyone was talking about them being one of the favourites, and I was like, are they really? And I kind of feel like this is exactly where I had the Roosters, where, they were trying to develop some players. They were a little bit more inconsistent than we're used to. They're going to, I don't think they're anywhere close to the Panthers or Storm, but they're not in a bad place, but they're not what they've been in previous seasons, and you shouldn't expect that. They had like 57 players have to retire last year, so. But they're the Titans. I've written off the Titans this year. I put a lot of faith in them after that good result against Parramatta, but yeah, I've just got nothing for them at the moment. They're playing like dump.
They are. And look, the Roosters haven't. I think they've lost their last 2 games, haven't they?
They lost against the Bulldogs
and the Dragons the week before by 2 points. So they've only lost 3 in a row once since 2016.
Oh wow, that's a good record. So the Roosters they're 3-2 in their last 5 games.
Yeah,
and the Titans are 1-4.
Yeah, the Titans they're junk. Let's be honest.
What did you think of it was more the media trying to make something out of nothing. The Roosters are trying to get it so that they host the first game at the new SFS, and it was sort of lined up that they were not letting the Rabbitohs be part of that or to be the first game. I think it's fair enough. The Roosters are right there. They played at the SCG, which was a shit sandwich they've chewed for a couple of years now. And, I think it's fair enough they get that first game at the SFS, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really care. I'm fine if the Roosters want to get it first.
Yeah. Who remembers the first game at any stadium, really?
Yeah. I think the first game at the original SFS was between South and the Roosters?
I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember.
It's like, they're just them games. Wasn't the first game at the Olympic Stadium Parramatta versus maybe St. George, Illawarra?
Let me find out here. It was East versus St. George in 88. South played East in the second game. There you go. I remember the second game.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, about the Olympic Stadium.
Let's have a look. Because this is important stuff.
Yeah.
Stadium Australia. Results. First game, Manly versus Newcastle.
There you
Who
go.
thought that?
Completely wrong.
And it was a doubleheader. So Parramatta played the Dragons as well. So which one kicked off first? You might have been right.
Yeah, which one was first? I feel like it was Parramatta. I feel like I feel like it was an Eels scored the first points of first try there.
We don't have the kick-off time on here. But I think you're right. I think it was the the Parramatta Dragons game was the first one.
Okay.
104,000 people were there for that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, hang on. It
What?
was merely Newcastle because we've got a note here saying Terry Hill scored the first ever try at the new stadium, Australia.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So I was wrong.
Terry Hill. What a legend.
Great. He loves fresh.
The West Tigers signed this bloke who was a test centre, one of the best centres still in the game at the time, and they turned him into a lock.
So
They had Jason Lowry. They had a few other people there. Mark O'Neill. They could have had those people who were locks play at lock. No, let's have Terry Hill.
would you do that? Yeah. It makes no sense. The lock's playing lock.
Yeah.
So what more is there to say about this game? Like, I feel as though this is just an easy game for the Roosters. They'll welcome this contest.
I suspect the Roosters will come out and probably put on a score.
Yeah.
Because they've been pretty poor the last 2 weeks, and that shit's going to change. The Titans have scored just one try in their last two games.
That's
sorry, each of their last two games. So they one try against the Cowboys, one try against Penrith. That's it. They are rubbish right now. They are rubbish, and their defense is it's guessing half the time.
Now, speaking of rubbish, in the last game on Saturday night, we have the North Queensland Cowboys, who are in their head-to-head on Palmerbet.com, are $1.16 against the Newcastle Knights, who are $5.30.
That's generous to the Knights.
I reckon, eh? The Knights have a 14.5-point head start at $1.93. And yet there's been money with the 14.5-point handicap at $1.87 for the North Queensland Cowboys. And I can't argue with any of it. Like, I agree with you. I think $5.50 is crazy. Like, I think that they could be $7 easy.
I mean, the Knights haven't scored a try for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they've conceded 15.
And, like, how are the Knights going to stop Jason Taumalolo?
They're just not.
No.
It's even worse than that, though, is the Cowboys are starting to play good footy just wide of the ruck. They haven't been doing much of it, but they're slowly starting to drift wider of the ruck, and they're playing some good footy out there. And the Knights' defence out there is questionable.
Mm-hmm.
The Knights are playing with a lot of ill discipline. And I don't know. They've got a lot to fix up there. I
think that O'Brien will be sacked either this week or next week. That's my feeling.
If they struggle to score a try again this week and get another score put on them, I will find myself being asked questions, statistical ones, to try and see if there's any comparison between this Knights team and the one that was winning wooden spoons and barely struggling to win a game every year.
Yeah.
Because it's not far off that now. I mean, they've conceded 89 points in their last two games and scored 4. 2 penalty goals.
They were pretty good penalty goals, though.
That was sweet. I love the one, especially against Parramatta, because it meant the Parramatta now conceded 2 points more than the West Tigers.
Keeping the Tigers in the race.
That's right.
Now, sorry.
Yeah.
You got anything else to say on that one?
No, just Newcastle shit.
Yeah, they are. It's like Newcastle, the Titans, and the Raiders. I'm disgusted by at the moment. Just completely disgusted.
Well, the Raiders have been unimaginative with the ball in hand ever since they lost the grand final.
Yeah. By the way, the Raiders are bringing back the human turnstile, which should help their defence.
Wow. To be honest, they've got a lot of issues out there at the moment, so, it doesn't really matter who they bring in.
Might as well throw him out, defend with 12, and hope the game isn't close, because if he has to kick a goal, he'll choke. 2:00 on Sunday, we have the Melbourne Storm, your local team, Andrew. They take on The St. George Illawarra Dragons.
Oh,
Are
the
you
two
ready?
form teams of the comp.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this, right? The Melbourne Storm are at $1.05.
Ooh, long odds.
The St. George Illawarra Dragons are at $10.20. That's head to head. Yeah.
And that's the Dragon side that's won their last 3 games.
Yeah. And that doesn't feel wrong, does it?
Oh, not in the slightest. Not in the slightest.
With the line betting, the Dragons have a 22.5 point head start. I don't think I've ever seen a head start that big. That's at $1.90. The Storm have a 22.5 point handicap, and they're also at $1.90. That's a rough one.
I'm just going to check out a bit of a stat here. How many games is this?
I know they haven't been rivals for a long time now, but you still feel as though the Storm own the St. George Illawarra Dragons' soul, don't you?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So Melbourne's last 51 games,
Mhm.
they've scored an average of 32.9 points per game.
Whoa. That's
crazy. That is crazy. And so that's basically only 2 weeks after the Vlandis ball started, because that's round 7, 2020.
The thing about their attack too is it's so clinical.
Yeah.
Like it's not throwing like when the Panthers are on, they throw the ball around a bit and do some crazy shit. That's not the Storm. The Storm are just so super clinical. They don't really throw the ball around. You feel as though everything is just so perfect for them when they're on. It's such a great style. I love watching the Storm play. They're just amazing.
Just look here. Yeah, 32. So the average Melbourne Storm scoreline over their last 51 NRL games, this includes finals as well, is essentially 33-13.
Wow. What is the Panthers one? Can you do the Panthers over the same time frame?
Yeah, sure. That's a 20-point margin.
Yeah, they're flogging everyone.
Yeah. All right. So over the last, 51 games? Because that's a nice round number.
Yeah.
Penrith have scored 1,400 points in their last 51. So that's 27.4 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
And 12 against. So they're better defensively.
Yeah, but they're quite a few points down in attack.
They're about 5.5 points down in attack, but 1.5 points better in defence.
Yeah.
That's about 4.
And the Storm, the Storm during that time have had a couple of like the other week where they played the Warriors, put up 70.
Yeah.
It's not very often you see 70 points put up in a game. And
that's only happened 10 times now.
Yeah, I think that's what you were saying. 10 times. Was it 10 or
70
14?
Wow, I'll just check that again as well.
Fucking testing you tonight, hey.
Put me on the spot. No, it's 10 times.
Okay.
Do you want me to go through?
Yeah, tell me them.
Okay. And this is in chronological order too. 1935, round 5, St. George beat the Bulldogs 91-6.
It was that scoreline is actually bigger than it seems because tries weren't worth 4 points.
That's right. So if we use today's scoring, that would be 110-6.
Fucking hell.
As the Dragons scored 19 tries.
Fuck.
The following week, East beat the same Bulldogs side 87-7, and they also scored 19 tries. So if that was in today's scoring, that would be 106-8.
Now, that's the game that Dave Brown holds the record for, yes.
Yes. Was it 6 tries, 10 goals?
That it's so outrageous.
Crazy. So they were both 1935. That was 7 days within each other. And they are the two biggest wins in the competition history. Then 1973, round 19, Manly beat Penrith 70-7.
Mm-hmm.
And then we jump into the NRL era. 2000, round 5, Melbourne beat the Dragons 70-10. That was the grand final replay at the MCG.
I mean, that was crazy, that game, because Anthony Mundine said we see ourselves as the champions. And
Yes.
the Storm just cut, and it's similar to what I was saying about the Panthers, where the Storm just come out and said, fuck you, and annihilated them. And I think the next week, Anthony Mundine decided to quit and fight taxi drivers for the rest.
He did. The next one after that, 2003, was when Parramatta and the referee beat Cronulla 74-4.
Why do you say the referee?
Sent off David Peachy for something trivial. I think 2 other Penrith Cronulla players were sin-binned or something at the same time.
I don't remember that, huh?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. 2004, Penrith beat Manly 72-12. That was revenge for 73.
Yeah, 72-12.
Held that grudge for a while. 2006.
You know what? We might wait 30-odd years, but we'll get you.
Oh, yeah. Karma's a bitch. 2006, round 2, the Knights beat Canberra 70-32 in the highest point-scoring game ever.
Wow. 70-32.
Yeah, 18 tries scored in that game.
Jesus.
2007, round 11, the Broncos beat the Knights 71-6. It's a good thing they kicked that field goal.
Yeah. That was the difference.
2008, Canberra beat Penrith 74-12.
2008, 74-12. That would have been the Elliott era, yeah.
Yeah. And then 2 weeks ago, Melbourne beat the Warriors 70-10.
I don't think the Panthers have 70 points in them.
Oh, I think they come up against the right opponent in the worst form. Absolutely, they do.
You reckon?
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
I reckon.
You got 2-0 back and fit,
and
they're basically full strength. They come up against a team. What would be a good example, I guess? Actually, probably an out of form and injury hit Knights team.
The Knights,
their edge is bad.
Yeah, or get to the end of the year and the Titans are just given up.
Yeah, that's true too. The Titans about 3 weeks from the finals.
Yes. Where they're like already in holiday mode. They're already on the Gold Coast. And but Fafita hasn't played for 6 weeks because, whatever.
Yeah. I reckon they could definitely hit 70.
Could you imagine if the Panthers put 70 on the Parramatta Eels? How crazy people would go.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
It would be kind of funny, but it would just be like Parramatta fans would go into a meltdown, and I think they'd have every right to be honest.
You know what would be the absolute funniest thing, though?
What?
If they scored about 50 of those points just from Nathan Cleary putting 2-point field goals. Just gets to the 40-metre line, just goes bang. Oh, there's another 2 points.
Would that be the funniest outcome you could think of this year?
Oh, hell yeah. Imagine winning a game like 70 points to 0 and there's like 50 points through field goals. Do you remember there was a time in State of Origin, I think it was during Super League, where New South Wales were just so on top where Brad Fittler started kicking field goals from like halfway. Wasn't that in the mid-90s? Yeah. I think there was a game where he and Benny Elias kicked a field goal each.
See, I feel like it was, in my head, it's like 96-ish.
Okay. Well, it might have been.
Because 95, they lost 3-0, right, to Fatty's Maroons team. And the next year it was just a complete turnaround. And I feel like it was in that 96 series where Fittler had started, like, all of a sudden he's trying to kick field goals from 55 metres out.
That might have been then. I'll have a look.
Yeah.
You kicked a field goal in 94. That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I think.
But I feel like 94 was close, though. It wasn't that one.
Yeah, 96 was a whitewash.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. So the one where they beat Queensland 27-12, that was in the decider. I think that might have been when Benny might have been covered in blood. He kicked 2 field goals in that game, and Fittler kicked 1.
Okay. Yeah.
Fittler's only other field goal was game 3, 96.
There you go. That'd be the one. What was the scoreline in that one?
15-14.
So, well, it was still a close game. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
That's really crazy.
God, that was a good team, though.
Yeah. Well, and they got kind of revenge for the year before, which would have been really nice for them. I mean, it doesn't erase what happened. And that 95 team, take nothing away from it. Like, they legit won that series 3-0. But you know what? And I can't remember who won in 97.
Wasn't it New South Wales?
I would guess it was.
We'll go with New South Wales.
Okay.
Right. What other games we got this week?
Well,
hang on. Did we do a tip for that one?
We both tipped a Storm.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so the last game in our Palmerbet.com roundup, or preview, I should say, of round 9. It's the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks taking on the New Zealand Warriors. The Sharks are at $1.20 in the head-to-head. The Warriors are at $4.60. The Warriors have a 13.5 point head start at $1.95. With the 13.5 point handicap, the Cronulla Sharks have had a little bit of money on them. They're at $1.85. And the Sharks will be wanting to kind of pull it all back together again. They've had a pretty good run so far this season, but it feels like in the last couple of weeks they just haven't had that same defensive, edge that they have.
Yeah, and the attack got a little bit off kilter, I think. So,
yeah.
Mojo, they've had a few personnel changes, which has impacted that a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, teams have started really cramping up Talakai, not letting him move as much as he had been in previous weeks, and that's sort of taken one of their big attacking weapons out of play a little.
Mm-hmm.
So you should see how they changed up here. The Warriors, man, they're hard to watch.
Yeah, they're such a dumb football team, to be honest, and I can't be too critical about them because of all the stuff they're going through. I don't feel the same as I do with them as I do about the Titans and all that. But there are some things I see in Warriors games where I'm like, what the fuck are they thinking? And the other thing I'll say is Sean Johnson is done. He's finished as a footy player, in my opinion. He should go to Super League. He should sign a 4-year deal with a Super League club that hasn't got, the NRL coverage over there.
Huddersfield.
Yeah, they haven't got TV yet in Huddersfield, have they?
I don't think so.
I think it goes. I think it's supposed to go like sewage, electricity, and then you get TV.
Yeah.
I tell you what, when they get electricity, they're gonna love it.
They will. They'll to make their own gravy. The crazy thing about the Warriors.
Yes.
Only twice since 2010 have they posted 20 points or more against the Sharks.
Oh, wow.
So once in 2011, they beat the Sharks 26-18.
Yeah.
And then in 2015, they beat them 20-16.
So how many wins have they had in that time?
4 out of, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins out of 18 games.
Jesus. That's pretty excited.
They're pretty heavily owned.
Mm.
So they need to score 4 tries. That's as simple as that. They need to find a way to score 4 tries against that Sharks team. But this is the problem compared to other Sharks teams we've seen in the past, is this Sharks team knows how to score points.
Yeah.
So 4 tries may not even be enough yet. I don't know. I can't see the Warriors putting 4 tries on anyone at this stage.
No, they look so bad at the moment. And they're up against some rough circumstances, but still, it's just they don't help themselves.
No, well, that's the thing. I mean, the ball handling is atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
That's their biggest problem. And yeah, as for scoring 4 tries, they've done it once this year.
And like I watched Sean Johnson play, like there was a pass he threw, I think it was last weekend, where he threw a forward pass over the sideline where his
Yeah.
winner looked at him as if to say, what the fuck are you doing? And Sean Johnson is a veteran player. There's no excuse for that. And I just keep watching him do stuff where I'm like, this guy's playing like he's still a rookie.
Yeah, there's some bad plays in him. And I hear that they've just lost Cody Nikorima as well. He's going to South.
Oh, really?
Apparently that was a deal that was being rumoured as happening today or yesterday.
Is he during this year, or is he going at the end of the year?
I believe it's this year, because the other one was South had signed Milford, but I think he's now going to a different club.
I feel like he's going to the Newcastle Knights.
Yeah, I think it might have been Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was waiting on some court case against him to get cleared up, which I think only ended a week or two ago.
Yeah.
And that greenlit the transfer to the Knights. So, make of that what you will.
He's not going to help the Knights.
No, not the slightest. If they probably could have done with Nikorima, to be honest. He's a little bit more structured than Milford.
The thing about the Knights I don't understand is why I would have Clifford at halfback, and Clune they've got at halfback, and I don't understand why you wouldn't give the keys to Clifford, because he's obviously going to be a halfback long term.
Yeah.
But Adam O'Brien, there's so many.
It all rests on his shoulders, though.
I know. How many times does he have to apologise before they sack him?
It's almost like he's begging them to sack him. Said, yeah, you know what? Yeah, at the end of the day, this loss is because I'm completely shit. Sack me. Kill me, please. Take me now. Do you reckon? Oh, no, he's got the full support of the board. We'll keep on for another. He's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Do you reckon Michael Maguire watches him and goes, that mad bastard?
He's like, how's he making that work? I never thought of doing that.
Oh, shit. Oh, man.
But then again, I mean, because, and this is what I said it might have been the last episode as well, because O'Brien is coaching the Knights, and Matty Johns is in the media, and he's a former Knights man, he loves the Knights, talks about all the time. It means that the vapid, insidious, loudmouth, bullying dickhead that is James Hooper lacks the balls to be critical of something that Matty Johns is positive about. So he goes after the Tigers because no one's trying to defend them. He won't go after the Raiders because Paul Crawley's brother works down there for him. He doesn't want to upset Crawls. Because you'll notice he doesn't upset his mates on Fox Sports, doesn't upset Kenty.
I would love to know how the local media up in Newcastle deals with the Knights, because it is a very small media market, and obviously if
they love them.
Yeah, I would guess they would, and that's
they're everywhere, man. It's kind of like with Brisbane with the Broncos. You see them on all the ads.
Yep.
I lived in Newcastle for a period there when I was doing some studies. And yeah, they're all over the news. They're plugging everything. They're superstars in the local area. It doesn't matter if they're winning or not. It's just why they are. It's crazy. Some of the ads too look pretty amateurish and pretty sad. I'm surprised they haven't turned up on some of Matty John's shit. But then again, he probably doesn't want to upset anyone and make them look bad.
He's talking about his own show too.
Well, he's good at making himself look bad on there.
I love those local ads though. Like when you've got Winter or something, and you see like an advert for some local business, and they've made it on like a couple of $100 with a camcorder, and it's just, I love those ads. They're great.
Oh, they're good. All I remember one of them was, it might have been Danny Vidaris, and he was sitting in a chair with his feet in ice cream containers that are supposed to look like cement blocks. And I don't know what the hell they're advertising, but it's supposed to look like he was being like imprisoned. But he's smiling the whole way through it all. I'm going, man, this is fucking shit ass production. Fuck, I love it. I remember him sitting there with his hands behind his back in a chair and his feet in ice cream containers. I don't know what it was. Oh, and he's smiling away.
You know the other. Sorry,
I actually met Danny Medeiros once or twice when I was in Newcastle. He's a lovely human.
Yeah.
I couldn't say a bad word about him. Brilliant human. John's boys though. Yeah.
Don't.
I won't be too critical of Andrew. He's friendly enough when you say hello to him, but he won't go out of his way to, say good day or be warm or anything like that. But he'll happily have a chat if you start it with him and you're not too much of an asshole or interrupting him with anything. But Danny Medeiros, very, very, very lovely human.
I could see
I speak very highly of him.
I could see where Andrew Johns would be a little bit
standoffish. That's the word I'd use. Standoffish is Andrew Johns.
Yeah, and that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point he was the most famous rugby league player in the world.
Exactly.
He's probably dealt with some weird shit,
And he's probably sick of it. Matty Johns, you can imagine. Don't go with that.
I was going to say, when you watch those local news stations and they've got the news on, and all I can think of is that, like, all of the newsreaders, weather people and stuff, all they're thinking of is, please someone see me and save me.
There's a great clip. It might be on YouTube, and it's of the Melbourne newsreaders. I think it might have been Channel 7. And the lady on there, I think did the weather. I think she was leaving. And the guy who does the sports come on, and he went to lean in to give her a kiss and a cuddle on the cheek, and she flinched and pulled away big time. I was like, "Don't you fucking touch me, you perv!"
I was like, called in horror.
Yeah, you're like, whoa. There's some strong vibes right there.
Do you feel like, because sometimes we will get the Melbourne news late at night for whatever reason, I don't fucking know why, and for some reason, when I see the Melbourne news, it feels so like a local station.
They've gone to a lot of effort to try and make it really localized content. So, I find when I watch the Melbourne news, and I don't watch the Melbourne news very often, I'll tell you that right now. They try not to, or it feels like they try not to report on anything going on in the other states as much as possible. Whereas I always found with the Sydney news that at least have one segment where they spoke about what's going on in the rest of the country.
Yeah.
The Melbourne news tries very hard not to do that. But we're the most important state. You only need to know what's going on here. I'm waiting one day because they'll get to a point where nothing happens in Melbourne whatsoever. And they go, we've got to pad out for half an hour here. There's a war going on between Sydney and Brisbane. They actually brought tanks out. They're trying to murder one another. They go, let's talk about coffee prices in Spring Street.
Melbourne is known around the entire world for its coffee. Just ask people in Melbourne.
Yeah, that's right.
So weird. Well, it's been an amazing 400 episodes.
It has. I hope we've been entertaining.
I know, right? Should we let everyone know we're quitting as of now? No, we're not.
Our goal was to get to 400.
And imagine doing that. I bet there are some podcasts where they've done that, where they've been like, I'm going to do 100 episodes and then I'm going to stop.
That's it. Just fuck them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. What we will do, is we do have an end plan, but we know what we're going to do in our very last episode. It's going to be as controversial and horrible, but we're going to have an absolute ball.
You know what? I know we've talked about it. I remember us laughing about it, and I can't remember what we said we were going to do, but I'm in.
We're going to be, we're going to attack anything that we want. It's not really going to be rugby league based at all. We're just going to go off the plot like never before, and we're going to try and offend as many humans as possible all around the world.
This is like some next level Amber Heard shit we're going to say.
Yeah. But the beauty of it is, just to keep everyone glued in, is we don't know when that episode's coming. You're just going to have to tune in and wait for it.
Oh, shit. And with that said, thank you to Palmerbet for providing us with all of the odds for this round of games.
Drumming up business. I should be a salesman.
Yeah, you should be. You should be.
Imagine you say to a customer, this car would be fantastic. And did you know that once it gets to a certain number of years of lifetime, it grows a turbocharger? That'll sell it. Feel like, fuck, really? I'll buy one.
It's never. By the way, on the related note, never buy a Jeep. I've never owned a Jeep, but I took somebody that said Jeeps are shit, so don't buy them.
Oh, but you buy it so you can say that you own one.
That's exactly why people buy them, and then they break down on the side of the road.
They're sitting there going, then they can ring up the roadside assistance going, hello, yeah, my name's John. I bought a Jeep. And they go, whereabouts are you?
There's your problem. Yeah. Oh, you poor bastard. I'll be right there.
And then you're in the back, got another Jeep owner.
Oh, shit. It's funny.
Well, there you go. That's it. That was a good episode.
That was very good. 400. We did it. We did a strong 400 episode, eh?
Yep. So tune in next week when we do our 500th. No, look, it's been good. Thank you everybody for listening for 400 episodes. And we'll comfortably rack out another 400.
Easy
game. Easy game.
If you had to guess how many episodes we'll end up doing of the podcast, what would you guess?
A few thousand.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
It's thousands. It's going to be thousands.
Yeah.
Do you reckon we'll be old men just screaming into the ether?
Oh, yeah, we'll be whinging about young journos by the time that comes around. They weren't like the journos we had when we grew up. Remember Buzz Rockfield? Fuck, he was good.
Yeah, imagine if we got to that point. They don't make them like that bastard anymore.
Nah. Jeez, he used to call a spade, didn't he?
Let me tell you. They used to say some rotten things about him, but once they got him pickled enough, he was fucking great.
Boy, if we ever get to that point, we start praising journos. That's when we do fucking end it.
Well, just, you know what? If we get to that point, just come up to the back of me, two in the back of the head, real quick, bang, bang, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second was just to make sure the first one worked.
Exactly.
Yeah. We'll have a hitman on each one. We'll just send the text message and just says go to each and just see this boom, boom, end of the episode. Wow, that got dark.
Remember that smooth talk, fucking James Hooper? He had his finger on the pulse, that guy.
Oh, there goes Andrew.
Blow my brains out over the entire screen.
That has got dark.
Yeah, that did.
Took a turn.
And yet, it's not the worst thing we've ever said on the podcast. And we know what the worst podcast is we ever did, and we had to get rid of it.
Yeah, there's been an awful lot of editing done in the past.
Yeah. Hey, did you listen to the last episode?
I've only listened to the first half of it, and then had to deal with trains and stuff.
Man.
But mate, top notch editing. That's all I can say.
I can do some good shit with an editing button.
I was going to say there must have been about that episode must have been about 37 different pieces.
I cut out, let me think, about 5 or 6 pieces.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it wasn't too bad, actually. So I did that and got it sorted out. That's why they pay us the big bucks, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If they paid me a little bit more, I could take up coffee drinking in Melbourne. And if they paid me a lot more, I could take up coffee drinking on the Gold Coast.
Yes, well, that stuff. Gold Coast is the only place where the coffee costs by the kilo.
Oh yeah. Now look, with that done, we'll wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you check us out on the socials at Instagram and Twitter at Fergo Freak Pod. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, MySpace. If there's a social network you think we should be on and we're not, let us know and we'll try and set up an account there and Nadine will sort it out. Thanks, Nadine.
Nadine's the best. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's good. She loves it.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you check us out on all of those socials. Check us out on your, go to your podcast listening device and leave us a review on there and a 5-star rating. That would be fantastic. Also, head on over to the website and you can contact us there, Freaky.
Actually, don't contact us through the website anymore.
I'm going to keep saying it just for the hell of it, just to plug the website.
You just keep saying it just until I get to the point where I'm angry and I'm like, I've sent fucking 100 letters in here.
But the problem you have is you're not sending those emails to me. You keep sending them to the ATO all the time.
I fucking send it to you on and off the podcast. Anyway, if you want to send us an email, send it to podcast@leaguefreak.com. We will eventually read our emails out. We have 4 of them.
That'll be the next episode.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Actually, let's do this, right? Let's make it interesting. What's a game we can pick this weekend? Okay, here's one. If the Brisbane Broncos beat the Rabbitohs, our next episode will be reading emails. If they don't, you can all go fuck yourselves.
The fate of email reading is in the hands of the Broncos.
Exactly. Everyone should back them.
Yeah. I was thinking more along the lines of trying to promote people to send us emails. That's just promoting everyone to watch Broncos games. That's kind of torture more than anything else.
Well, yeah. Well, if you send in an email, we will read it eventually. So, and you can say whatever you want in your email. You can ask for advice. You can talk about the football. You can critique our podcasting style. To just make it interesting. Try and keep us on our toes.
Yeah. See what you can come up with. And we'll see what we can say without having to edit it out. When I say we, Freaky will edit it out, but, that's what we do. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Do all of that stuff. That's your homework. And we'll have another episode soon enough. And we'll chat to you then.
Palmerbet with the big don't argue. Punters will love that. Download our app today and enjoy tackle-busting benefits with great odds, more markets and same-game multi every NRL match at Palmerbet. Gamble responsibly. For Gamblers' Help, call 1-800-858-858.